So you might even remember some of these types of questions from Algebra 2 and Pre-Calculus when you had word problems. So this time I have a diver jumping from a diving board. He's 32 feet above the water, and I have a quadratic, so just because I love pictures, I expected it would look something like that. And here would be his 32 feet that he starts out above water. So when does he hit the water? Well, that's really nothing more than asking me, when is position 0? So I would set that whole thing equal to 0. And I'm anticipating I'll have two answers, right? It's a quadratic. Notice anything we can do with it right now? Ah, yes, you are geniuses. Super geniuses, I might add. And that we can take out a negative 16. And it will look like this. And then, of course, I can divide both sides by negative 16. Poof, it's gone. And then I can factor. So I'll have t minus 2 and t plus 1. So I know at time equals 2 and time equals negative 1, he will be at position 0. Now, keep in mind, time can't be negative, right? If it were, that other x-intercept would be back here. That's what time he must have started climbing the ladder. So I'd get a negative 1 there, and I have 2 here. So when does he hit the water? At time equals 2 minutes or seconds, or what do you think, hours? Yeah, I'm going to go with seconds. So now on the next piece, when it wants velocity, I remember, oh, well, how do I get velocity if all I have is position? Well, velocity is the first derivative of position. So I'm going to take the first derivative of this. So let's see. I'm going to power down each term. So 2 times negative 16 would be negative 32. That is a 3. And power down, so now I'll be down to t to the first plus, remember I'm powering down here, so 1 times 16 is 16, and then it'll be t to the 0, but psst, we don't write t to the 0. And then the derivative of constant is 0. So there it is. And then I have to remember, oh yeah, he's hitting the water at time equals 2, so that would be the time of his impact. So I want to know, what's this velocity when the time is 2? And I am definitely struggling here just writing a 2. So I'm going to substitute in the 2. That'll give me a negative 64, I believe. Double check my math. And negative 64 plus 16 will be negative 48. And it's velocity, so that'll be feet per second. Okay, so on this next word problem, we're starting a bicycle from rest, so s of 0 is 0. Notice that this distance is really position. And so we want to know the speed, but in order to get speed, I need to know velocity. And since I have a bunch of points, I would be looking at v average. So now after 2 seconds, in order to get the best average velocity, we're going to look at what's happening before and what's happening after, if we have that information. So I'm going to look at s of 3, that is a 3, minus s of 1 over 3 minus 1, which is 16 feet per second. So I would like you to pause the video and actually do the next one. Remember, after 5, where would I be looking? What 2 values would I use? So now if you said I'd use 6 and 4 torus, you were correct. And remember, speed is actually absolute value of velocity, and since it's positive in this case, we don't have to worry about changing our answers to positive. So now on the next one where I have after 6 seconds, I don't have any value after 6, so I'm going to have to use from 5 to 6 because it's all that I have. And again, I would be taking absolute value, but it's already positive, so I don't need to worry about it. I suggest you pause and write this down, but we would need to know acceleration in order to answer the question, and we can't.